rather be looking for another 60 years.
So thank you, everyone. Please go back to your seat, and we would like to invite two of our guests who would like to express their appreciation for Dr. Hong. So may we invite Dr. Hong to stay on the stage, and His Imperial and Royal Highness Jean-Louis Habsburg-Lothringen, President of Land of Peace in Austria. Please say. Well, so before we start the ceremony, I would like to read on behalf of His Imperial and Royal Highness Jean-Louis, express his appreciation for Dr. Hong. Presentation of the Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to invite His Imperial and Royal Highness Archduke Jean-Louis of Austria, Prince of Tuscany, Grand Master of the Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph, President of Austria Imperialists, and President of the Association for the Promotion of Peace, internationally recognized through its initiative, the Flame of Peace, to present the Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph. The Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph, originally instituted on the 2nd of December 1849 by His Imperial and Royal Apostolic Majesty Imperial Franz Joseph I, today continues to preserve and promote the historical, culture, and humanitarian legacy of the Austrian Empire. Inspired by this enduring heritage, the Order upholds the timeless principles of honor, duty, loyalty, charitable service, integrity, and excellence. It recognizes individuals whose distinguished achievements and exemplary service have rendered exceptional service to humanity and have made outstanding contributions to peace, culture, science, education, and the common good. In keeping with the highest traditions of the historic Austrian Empire, the order may be conferred upon persons of honor and distinguished merit, irrespective of nationality, ancestry, religion, social standing, rank, title, gender, or political affiliation. Admission to the order is based solely upon merit, integrity, honor, and exceptional service to humanity. Today, we are privileged to recognize an extraordinary individual whose lifelong dedication has inspired countless people throughout the world. The Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph is hereby conferred upon Dr. Hong Daozi in recognition of his lifetime of visionary leadership, his outstanding contributions to international peace, conscience, education, self-cultivation, intercultural understanding, and humanitarian service, and unwavering commitment to promoting love, harmony, wisdom, and the betterment of humankind. This distinction is conferred on the auspicious occasion of the 60th anniversary of Taiwan, celebrating 6 decades of unwavering dedication to conscience, peace, culture, wisdom, and global goodwill. Your Imperial and Royal Highness, I respectfully invite you to confirm the Austrian Imperial Order of Franz Joseph of Dr. Hong Daozi. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Massimo Infermier, founder of the Center for Studies on New Religions and editor-in-chief of Peter Winter, to express his appreciation for Dr. Hong. Please.
One, unlike our friend Shandor, we do not have imperial orders to bestow on Dr. Hong, but as a representative of the scholar community, although religion and spirituality, we all have a debt to Dr. Hong, because by studying Taiji Men, we do not only learn about Taiji Men, we learned from Taiji Men and from Dr. Hong a lot. So when visiting a conference in Slovenia, my wife Rosita and I, we found a different version of a tree of life. We already gave one from Lithuania once, but this is said to a very deep root going to the center of the earth according to Slovenian tradition, and we believe it symbolized the deep roots through centuries and millennia of the Taiji Men tradition, and how these roots, thanks to Dr. Hong, are spreading and conveying this message of Qigong, love, peace, and conscience to the world. So may this continue for many years, and thanks to Dr. Hong on behalf of the scholarly community.
Thank you, Dr. Massimo and Dr. Hong.
Yes,
Please
Dr. Hong,
please
please
be
return
seated.
to your seat.
So now we are going to move into the section 1, which is the keynote addresses. For keynote addresses, there will be 4 questions running through them. How education awakens conscience. How technologies stay guided by it. Where justice and human rights begin. And how we bridge what divides us.
And those questions today are urgent and critical. Wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, heat waves breaking records, artificial intelligence moving faster than the ethic meant to guide it. For 60 years, Dr. Hong Daozi has told that the answer to all of it begins in the same place, which is conscience.
In 1966, Dr. Hong Daozi answered a calling to bring both physical and spiritual health to modern society and founded Taiji Men Qigong Academy. 6 years on, Dr. Hong has carried the convictions to more than 300 cities in 123 countries. Please welcome the General Manager of Taiji Men, Dr. Hong Daozi.
尊敬的 Dr. 莫西西里阁下、Dr. 阿特嘎阁下、各位贵宾、各位女士、各位先生，大家午安。感谢各位不远千里从世界各地前来，我们齐聚在此，怀抱对人类文明与地球永续的希望，聚焦于发展全人教育以良心引领科技，维护正义与人权，共同敦促世人跨越分歧，并展现团结合作的决心。 人类生存的环境正处于极端气候所导致的热浪侵袭中，地域冲突与战争的威胁不断，人工智慧的发展正面临着巨大变革与道德的挑战。人类文明与地球永续已在毁灭的临界点上，此刻诚挚的呼吁全球治理应从良心立足，加速团结善良力量，唤醒人性的良性觉知。科技发展应符合伦理框架，避免人类滥用科技所造成的祸害，确保科技的发展是为全人类创造福祉，维护地球与世人的永续发展。以教育汲取新知已无法满足时代所需，而是要以全人教育和良心文化启发人类的良知，并培养能明辨是非的能力，方可建构和谐社会与成就和平的基石。正因全人教育致力于促进人类身心灵全面发展，能够同步培育出 AI 无法取代的良心与情感、智慧与道德的判断力，牵怀同理心及社会责任责任感，将自然内化成为未来领袖的人格特质，进而促使他们在面对冲突时应用智慧，采取和平解决方案，良心引领科技，终将水到渠成，创造世人共利与共荣的和平愿景。当前许多因为社会的不公义，仍面临剥削与歧视，唯有以良心为本，以透明与诚信为规，落实人权尊重与保障，促进包容与和谐，才有助于建立公正的社会，从根本上解决社会及地域的冲突。包容与和谐是建立恒久和平的关键，也是团结合作基础。透过良心对话，我们以尊重、互信和理解，在多元价值观中寻找互利与和谐共赢的方针，弭平误解与对立，真诚的交流，加深彼此的了解与信任，重视每一个声音，凝聚强大的合作力量，携手追求科技伦理、正义与人权相互交融，支撑我们建立一个和谐与永续的社会。世界公民必须以良心为指引，推动人类共同福祉。全球领袖推进良心对话，促进正义与维护人权，即是责无旁贷的使命，也是延续永续发展的体现。良心启动愿力，行动 成就愿行，全球领袖为建设一个更和谐、公正与和平、永续的世界继续奉献己力，带动世界公民良心觉醒，以利益众生、造福世人为终生直至，以善心善行的行动扭转世局，挽救地球的未来与人类的命运。历史将我们的努力写下，历史将为我们的努力写下永恒的勋章。祝福各位良心善行，永垂不朽，立德立言，广开太平。谢谢大家 ，Thank you, Thank you all, Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hong. Global governance anchored in conscience. Education that develops what artificial intelligence can never replace. Moral judgment, genuine emotion, and the ability to tell right from wrong. And a line worth carrying home. Conscience ignites aspiration, and action brings aspiration to fulfillment.
So our next speaker is the former Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. He'll take up justice and human rights, and why they are starting point rather than the destination. Please welcome His Excellency Dr. Pagalisa Mosisili.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege to join you in Taipei as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Taiji Men. I bring with me warm greetings from the Kingdom of Lesotho, the Mountain Kingdom, and heartfelt congratulations to the Taiji Men family on this remarkable milestone. 60 years of service is a rare achievement. It speaks not only of longevity, but of resilience, vision, and an unwavering commitment to values that transcend borders. Through cultural exchange, martial arts, education, and the promotion of conscience, Taiji Men has demonstrated that peace is built not only through treaties and institutions, but through the transformation of individuals and communities. During my years of public service, I came to understand more deeply that justice and human rights are not abstract legal concepts. They shape the everyday lives, hopes, and dignity of people. Without justice, there can be no lasting peace. Without trust between citizens and institutions, democracy itself is weakened. Justice and human rights are therefore not only merely ideals towards which humanity should aspire. They are the starting point for a sustainable future, one in which people can live in dignity, participate fully in society, and have confidence that institutions will serve them fairly and responsibly. The history of my country, Lesotho, has taught us these lessons. Like many nations, we've experienced moments of political uncertainty and institutional challenges. Yet we've also demonstrated resilience through dialogue, constitutional reform, and an enduring commitment to democratic governance. We continue to strengthen our institutions because we understand that peace and sustainable development are sustained not by power alone, but by justice, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. Societies are strongest when leaders are accountable, and no one is excluded from the opportunities and protections available to all. In Lesotho, we are guided by the African philosophy of Ubuntu. Ubuntu. It reminds us that we become fully human through the way we recognize, respect, and care for one another. It teaches compassion, mutual respect, humility, and responsibility. These values resonate deeply with the principles that Taiji Men has promoted for 6 decades. That is Taiji Men Qigong Academy. Because Taiji Men itself has many generations, many decades, more than the 60 years we are celebrating today. Although our cultures are separated by geography, they are united by a shared belief that peace begins in the human heart, and that through Ubuntu, our humanity is bound to the humanity of others. This understanding is certainly not unique to Lesotho. It speaks to a truth shared across cultures and nations. Today, our world faces many challenges. We see conflicts that divide nations, intolerance that separates communities, and economic inequalities that leave many feeling excluded. We also see powerful actors increasingly resorting to unilateral action rather than dialogue, cooperation, and responsible leadership. Technology has connected humanity as never before, yet misunderstanding and mistrust continue to grow. These realities remind us that neither peace nor sustainable development can be taken for granted. Such a future cannot be built where injustice is tolerated, where human rights are denied, or where large sections of society are left behind. It requires institutions that people can trust, equal access to justice, inclusive opportunities, and respect for the rights and dignity of every person. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights affirms that all people are born free and equal in dignity and rights. This principle remains one of humanity's greatest achievements. It calls upon governments to uphold justice, but it also calls upon every citizen to defend the dignity of others. Justice is more than the work of judges and lawyers. It is reflected in how governments serve their people, how institutions exercise their authority, how communities resolve their differences, how educators shape young minds, and how families teach values to future generations. This is why the work of Taiji men has such lasting value. By nurturing conscience, promoting intercultural dialogue, and encouraging young people to become responsible global citizens, Taiji men contributes to building the moral foundations upon which peaceful societies depend. In Africa, we often express this shared responsibility through a simple but enduring proverb, namely, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This wisdom is equally applicable to our shared pursuit of justice, human rights, peace, and sustainable development. No nation, however powerful, can achieve those goals in isolation. They require partnership, mutual respect, and continuous dialogue. Gatherings such as this one strengthen the friendship between the Basotho people and the people of Taiwan. They remind us that despite the distance between our countries, we share many of the same hopes for our children and our communities. As leaders, whether in government, civil society, academia, or faith communities, we carry a profound responsibility. Our words should unite rather than divide. Our actions should inspire trust rather than fear. Our leadership should always place the dignity of the human person at its center. I'm especially mindful of the younger generation, who will inherit both the opportunities we create and the challenges we leave behind. They will need not only knowledge and technological skills, but integrity, compassion, resilience, and moral courage. These are qualities that cannot be legislated. They must be cultivated through education, family, culture, and example. They are essential if if young people are to build a future that is not only more technologically advanced, but also more just, peaceful, and humane. It is in this spirit of shared humanity and shared responsibility that we mark this significant anniversary. Let us renew our collective commitment to building societies that are governed by justice, protected by human rights, and sustained in peace. May we continue to defend the rule of law, choose dialogue over conflict, promote cooperation over division, replace prejudice with understanding, and ensure that every person is treated with dignity and respect. On behalf of the people of the Kingdom of Lesotho, I extend my sincere congratulations to Grand Master Dr. Hong Daoze and the entire Taiji Men family. May the next 60 years continue to inspire nations, strengthen friendships across continents, and remind us that justice and human rights are not merely aspirations. They are the starting point towards a peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Justice does something built in how governments serve, how community settle differences, and how families pass on values. In the African philosophy of Bosu, we become fully human through the way we care for one another, which is close to a proverb he left us with. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
So thank you once again, Your Excellency. Now we would like to welcome our next speaker, Her Excellency Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano, the former President of the Republic of Ecuador and Executive President of Fundación Fidel. Dr. Arteaga Serrano will be speaking on holistic education. Welcome.
Again, ni hao, ni hao. Dear Dr. Hong, distinguished personalities, all the guests and the big family of Taiji Men. The mission that has guided my life through the years has been the pursuit of quality education. It began during my early years as a teacher in my hometown of Cuenca, widely regarded as the cultural capital of Ecuador, where, having only recently emerged from adolescence, I committed myself to guiding young students along the path of knowledge. This commitment was further strengthened through my service, first as Vice Minister of Culture and later as Minister of Education, Culture, and Sports of Ecuador, the first female has been in this position in my country, as well as through the great honor of serving as Vice President and President of the Republic of Ecuador. From each of these positions, I continued working to extend educational opportunities for children and young people through the diverse regions of Ecuador. Today, through my work with Fidal Foundation, that mission has broadened to bring together education from across Iberoamerica in the pursuit of educational excellence, while also promoting youth leadership, environmental education, and above all, education in values, something our societies around the world need now more than ever. It is precisely here that I find a profound convergence and a strong synergy with the work that Taiji Men Qiyong Academy and Dr. Hong Tao Tse have carried out of decades. Their unwavering commitment to teaching universal values rooted in ancient wisdom continues to inspire and enrich new generations across every continent. Holistic education is more than an educational model. It is a philosophy of life. It views the human being as a whole, embracing mind, body, spirit, and emotions, while recognizing our relationship with one another and with nature. It therefore offers a truly comprehensive understanding of human nature, acknowledging both its richness and its complexity. This approach to education nurtures the kind of leadership that positively transforms individuals, communities, and humanity as a whole. I speak of positive leadership because we know that the world has also witnessed the consequences of destructive leadership. For this reason, we must continually emphasize the formation of enduring values, values that transcend time and culture, values that are reflected in the world's great spiritual traditions and also in what legal scholars describe as natural law. These principles govern the way human beings relate to one another. They define the qualities that make us truly human: solidarity, compassion, respect, honesty, responsibility, and countless other virtues that are indispensable for peaceful coexistence. We understand that we are persons who live in relationship with others. That is why an integral education is essential, one that values teamwork, recognizes the significance of serving others, and inspires every individual to understand that his or her actions have meaning and purpose. This is precisely what your ancestral Taiji Men discipline helps people achieve through the cultivation of character, inner harmony, and wisdom. Allow me, Dr. Hong Tao Tse, to congratulate you on your remarkable achievements, on the enthusiasm you bring to your work, and on the inspiring leadership you continue to demonstrate. Your efforts improve people's lives and offer all of us vision of hope and confidence in a brighter future. May you continue leading this noble mission of building peace in the world through the formation of better human beings, women and men of conscience who will become the ethical, compassionate, and visionary leaders that our world so urgently needs. 谢谢.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Holistic education, not as a model, but as a philosophy of life, one that sees the whole person and that forms a kind of leadership which builds rather than destroys. Solidarity, compassion, respect, honesty, responsibility, values that outlast any curriculum.
Our last keynote speaker, I would like to spend more time personally to introduce him. because I got the privilege and honor to meet him in 2 days, last 2 days. We visited Taipei, but the most important part is that we exchanged a lot of ideas and thoughts on the family, on the current worldwide situation, conflict, chaos, and he's also my Gemini brother. Our birthday is almost the same. So, but through those 2 days, I did open my eyes, really learn a lot from his wisdom and personal experiences. Especially, I think yesterday, he has shared a very inspiring remark. I think all of us has learned, and many of us has heartfelt feeling and touched by his, keynote speech yesterday, which is be, see, and do. It's also the abstract from his book that he sent to me as my great honor. So, but I still need to formally introduce the founder of the Human Leadership Academy and a co-leader of the campaign to ban landmines that won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. He will speak on human rights, hope, and fruition. Please welcome Mr. Jerry White.
Thank you, Kenny, for those very kind words and for your kind hospitality. Dr. Hong, thank you for inviting me to speak, and for the friends and the esteemed colleagues who have already spoken so eloquently. Today, I want to speak about the importance of human rights and humane leadership. But here's my big idea up front. Without love for people and for nature, none of us can truly flourish. Flourishing means living in harmony with our neighbors, with each other, and with Mother Nature, and with our conscience intact. That is the secret to happiness. How did I learn this? Well, it wasn't from a book. It was from my own life experiences and career. One of the first steps that I took on the path to learning these lessons was extremely painful for me. I was 20 years old, and I went as an American student to study in Jerusalem, in Israel. And I went camping with 2 American friends. And suddenly, boom! The earth exploded underneath me, and I had no idea what happened. I didn't know what a landmine was, or that we had gone hiking in an unmarked minefield left over from the 1967 Arab-Israeli War when I was just 4 years old. So you can imagine, as the dust settled and I was covered in blood, I started to wake up to the pain, and I couldn't find my right foot. Where's my foot? Where's my foot? I kept crying out repeatedly in shock. It was nowhere to be found. All it took was one accidental, unfortunate step. What no one tells you about your worst morning ever is that it doesn't just take your leg. It hands you a choice. You can sit back and lick your wounds and wallow in victimhood and sadness, or maybe you can get up and do something about it. You can refuse to accept as normal that governments and their militaries have littered the world with tens of millions of landmines that are left over and buried in over 60 countries, killing, maiming thousands of women and children every single year. So our global call to action to governments was pretty clear and focused. You have a responsibility to clean up your mess. Ban this weapon now. Never did I imagine that that choice, this decision to take collective action, would end up saving millions of lives and limbs, and one day lead to the Nobel Peace Prize. You see, choice is not a feeling. It's a decision. You make it once, and then you keep making it, day in and day out. You take the next right step. For me, that was visiting and interviewing landmine survivors and people with disabilities whom I met all around the world. Genocide survivors, landmine survivors, disaster survivors. And what was so interesting, over and over, these survivors of war and disaster told me the same thing. Jerry, the problem isn't losing my eyesight or my limbs and my legs. The problem is losing my place in society. My family is ashamed of me. I can't find a job or a spouse, let alone a wheelchair ramp. Did you hear that? Their wound wasn't the worst injury. It was exclusion, isolation, loneliness. So how do we overcome this epidemic of separation? The science is clear. For us to flourish, to be happy, requires 3 fundamental ingredients. Number 1, connection. Are you in community, in relationship? Number 2, protection. Do you feel safe and secure? And number 3, creation. The inspiration we find in nature and culture and dance and music and education. You cannot flourish. We cannot flourish. I cannot flourish without all 3 of these ingredients in play. And today I want to focus on the ingredient that gets less attention and does most of the work. Protection. Your rights. You cannot connect with your neighbor, build community, have fun, let alone be creative, when you are running for your life, when you are hiding your faith, when you are harming your body or others. Protection. I want to remind us that violence is not inevitable. The science shows that it actually behaves like a contagious disease, which I guess is good news, which it means we can prevent it. We can stop its spread. It is in our power to do so. It's not a soft option. It's the only sane option. Less expensive and far less bloody than the decisions we see. The purposeful violence we are witnessing in this era. Women and children, like all of us, 80% of the victims are civilian. That's our daughters, our sisters, our grandmothers, our granddaughters. They bear the cost of men fighting. So here's what I know for sure. War is not a strategy. It is the absence of a strategy. Just look at the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, the war in Sudan, Iran. Each one started with a choice that a leader made. And each one could end with a different choice. Start talking instead of bombing. Is that so radical? So this is why I think that if we truly love humanity, ending war and protecting human rights must become a priority, step by step, day in and day out. So who in this room, little quiz, can name the most comprehensive human rights treaty ever negotiated? The strongest human rights document. What is it? Do you know? It's the UN Declaration Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Interesting. Between 2001 and 2008, I spent 7 years leading a campaign to negotiate this treaty. I only ask that you take 17 minutes and read it. I dare say it's critical to your future. Why should you care about disability rights? Because the treaty is designed to protect your future self, even as you age and your body and your mind change. It protects the things every one of us needs: the right to full and equal participation in society, the right to accessibility, but not just wheelchair ramps, to health services, to voting booths. More than 190 countries have signed this treaty, including China. Beijing ratified the Disability Rights Convention on August 1st, 2008, exactly 18 years ago. But because Taiwan holds no seat at the United Nations, it was never asked to sign anything. Taiwan owed the world no treaty obligation whatsoever, but it took steps of conscience. It made a decision, a choice. And so 12 years ago, this month, in August 2014, your legislators wrote the entire Disability Rights Convention into its domestic law. Nobody made you do it. You did it because it was the right and good thing to do. Conscience, the right next step for humane leadership. So the treaty protects the right to assemble, the right to think for yourself, the right to believe what you believe. Respect for difference and non-discrimination are considered legal obligations in the treaty, not just nice words or slogans. It turns out that these rights also apply to your religious freedom. What does disability have to do with religious freedom? But here again, Taiwan sets an example for human rights and humane leadership. Did you know that religion-related persecution and violence is the fastest growing type of violence in the world today? That's what happens when communities of every faith and no faith, when governments stop protecting people because of how they pray or whether they even pray. The pattern is similar to disability and violence. Exclusion comes first, then dehumanization, and then violence. The pattern. Religious freedom, like disability rights, isn't a niche issue for one community or some of us in the room. to defend alone. Because 84% of the world's population affiliates with religion and spirituality. So this is a majoritarian human rights issue, hiding in plain sight, exactly like disability was, with a billion people in the world living with disabilities and largely invisible to the human rights framework until the convention turned into law. So, to wrap up a bit, what can we do, like as of tomorrow morning? Remember the big idea I started with? Without love for each other and our environment, none of us can flourish. So we can start by taking a deep breath, as Dr. Hong advises. Breathe. And then notice. Be, then see. Who's missing from your table? Who's missing in this room? The wheelchair that can't climb your front steps? The nice neighbors next door who worship or vote differently than you? The coworker who's gone strangely quiet? Reach out. Be the person who makes the first move. That's why the daily work of Tai Chi Min is so vital. Your optimism makes a difference. Your hope is contagious. You drum, you sing, you dance, you ring a bell in public, in a crowd, in more than 100 countries. Hope, it rings loudest in a room full of people when we vibrate energy of love and flourishing together. So let's keep doing that. Again and again, step by dangerous step, country by country. Remember what I said yesterday? Be, see, do. Be yourself. See what's possible. Do something useful. So I'll ask everyone, if you don't mind, to close, if you would stand up with me. Just stand up. And to close, what have we learned? To form the gesture for conscience. Your right hand in a fist, your left hand covering and protecting it in front of your heart. Now repeat after me. We will flourish.
We will flourish.
Be, see, do.
Be, see, do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. Please stay with us for a moment. I think three things we need to, in order to flourish, as we reflect, recap, which is connection, protection, and creation. And a reminder, the violence is spread like a disease, which means it can be also stopped. So, Jerry, thank you very much. So now we would like to invite
Dr. Hong, may we invite you back to the stage? Dr. Hong would like to present certificates of appreciation. So we would also like to invite His Excellency Dr. Pakalisa Mosisili and Her Excellency Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano, please back to the stage.
So Dr. Hong Daozi will now present the certificates of appreciations to our keynote speakers.
We will start with His Excellency, Dr. Pakalisa Musisili. Please look at the camera. Thank you, Doctor. Next, we would like to present Certificate of Appreciation to Her Excellency, Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano. Thank you. Muchas gracias, Dr. Arteaga Serrano. And last but not the least, Mr. Jerry White. Thank you so much for your contribution and inspiration. Now, thank you, Your Excellencies. We would like to have a final photo together.
Yes.
Please remain on the stage. Let's
Forward
look
together.
at the camera. Beautiful. Yes. 3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. Please return to your seats.
Yes, please be seated. Now we are going to invite all of you to have big group pictures with our banners today as our milestone memories.
So everyone please remain seated. We will have a banner in the front and we will have a very nice photo shot from the stage. So please hold a sec. Well, we also will arrange the seating for the coming panel sessions.
I think it's a critical moment and milestone that you are able to join us together with this critical moment. Oh, sorry. So now we are going to also have 3 gestures as we did earlier, right? Okay. So the first gesture is the peace off or flying off. Yes.
Now, very beautiful.
Yeah.
We all got it? Fantastic. Let's look at the camera and say love and peace. Beautiful.
Wonderful. I can see everybody smiles. So the second gesture would be the conscience. I think you are very familiar with that, right? Conscience in your heart.
So
Conscious.
we have your right hand as a feast, your left hand safeguard your conscience. Now, 3, 2, 1, we say conscience together. Conscience.
Conscience. Excellent. So the last one will be 60. The right hand, thumbs up. With the left hand, fist. And put together on your heart. So they say 60, okay? 1, 2, 3. 60. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now we would like to begin the second session. Justice and human rights is the theme, the starting point toward a sustainable future. We will have 4 presentations. then a moderated dialogue. Our moderator is president of the Jura Noyd Foundation of Freedom of Religion or Belief and associate director of Human Rights Without Frontiers. He will introduce each of our speakers in turn. Now let's welcome Mr. Hans Noyd. Welcome. Now, we would also like to welcome our panelists to the stage. Dr. Massimo Intravine. Your Excellency Shandor Habsburg Loringen. Mr. Peter Zur. And Mr. Thierry Ballet. Mr. Noyd, now the floor is yours.
So, Mr. Noyd, just a reminder, this panel has 40 minutes. So each panelist will have 5 minutes to share, and we will leave 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A. I know it's tough for you, but there should be no issues.
We can do anything.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure, and thank you, Dr. Hong, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here today and to participate in this session. Many years ago, and that is many years ago, I was going to the University of Dallas in Texas, and there was an old professor who taught something there. He was a German professor, one of those old professors with 25 professor titles, and he taught me something that is relevant for the discussion today. He taught us that every society that focuses on technology disappears. And I think what the Taiji men are teaching, if I understand it correctly, we need to focus on conscience, on love, on peace. And then technology can help us if we use it correctly. Today's discussion is about these elements that I talked about a minute ago and a bit more. And I would like to first of all introduce the gentleman next to me on the right-hand side. I'm very honored to, well, he's been introduced before, but I will do it very shortly. And I've had the privilege to have known him a few years already. I can do this in German if you want, but I don't think that will work very well. Not a good idea. His Highness Sandor Habsburg Lothringen, President of Flame and Peace and founder of Crown Impact Investment. His Highness Habsburg Lothringen is committed to promoting peace, humanitarian values, and sustainable social impact. Through his international initiatives, he encourages dialogue, reconciliation, and responsible leadership for a more peaceful world. Your Highness, can I give you the floor first?
This is maybe a little bit unconventional. Distinguished delegates, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to address you today on a subject that transcends borders, cultures, and generations. The power of conscience to shape a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world. Before I begin, I wish to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Hong Tao Tse and to all the members of the Taiji Men family for their unwavering dedication to conscience, peace, and humanity. It is also my great honor to congratulate the entire Taijimen family on the celebration of its 60th anniversary and to wish you every success in your continued mission promoting peace, wisdom, harmony throughout the world together. The challenges before us are immense. We face rapid technological transformation, geopolitical tensions, social division, and growing uncertainty. Yet these challenges also present an opportunity to reaffirm that genuine progress must always be guided by humanity's highest values: conscience, respect, responsibility, justice, and our shared humanity. This begins with holistic education. Education should not merely prepare young people for careers, it should prepare them for life. Its foremost purpose must be to teach children how to learn, how to think critically, and how to continue learning throughout their lives. Equally important, education should nurture the unique strengths, talents, and potential within every child, rather than concentrating primarily on weaknesses. Every child possesses gifts waiting to be discovered, and it is the responsibility of education to help those gifts flourish. When we cultivate knowledge together with integrity, compassion, respect, responsibility, and moral courage, we develop leaders who seek not power over others, but to service to humanity. Peace is ultimately built on our families, our classrooms, our communities, long before it is secured through treaties. Our technological revolution, particularly in artificial intelligence, offers extraordinary promise. AI can improve healthcare, accelerate scientific discovery, strengthen education, and help us solve some of humanity's greatest challenges. Yet technology itself has no conscience. It reflects the values of those who design, govern, and deploy it. At the same time, many people feel they have lost control over their personal data. Information that should empower individuals can instead be used to influence, manipulate, or undermine their freedom. Whenever those entrusted with protecting society fail to safeguard those fundamental rights, public trust is weakened. Our task, therefore, is not merely to create more powerful artificial intelligence, but to ensure that it is guided by conscience, transparency, accountability, and respect for human dignity. Innovation without ethics can divide societies. Innovation guided by conscience can unite, empower, and serve humanity. We must ask an essential question: what information should never be entrusted to artificial intelligence? Protecting certain aspects of human privacy, freedom, and dignity must remain fundamental responsibility of every free and democratic society. Equally essential is our commitment to justice, human rights, and the rule of law. They are not optional ideals. They are the foundation of every peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable society. Whenever justice is denied or human dignity is diminished, instability inevitably follows. Every law should and must uphold and protect fundamental human rights. When laws cease to protect those rights, they risk becoming instruments of oppression rather than guardians of justice. No legal system should ever legitimize injustice or undermine the inherent dignity of a human person. The rule of law must apply equally to everyone. Accountability cannot be selective. It must exist at every level of society, from governments, public institutions, to businesses, to organizations, and individual citizens. Yet accountability alone is not enough. Every person entrusted with responsibility, whether in government, business, education, science, or civil society, must also possess competence, integrity, experience, and judgment necessary to fulfill that responsibility. Authority without competence undermines trust. Competence without conscience endangers humanity. Our future requires both. Lasting injustice depends not only on legal enforcement, but also on an inner sense of moral responsibility. A society whose citizens act only from fear of punishment will never be as strong as one whose people act because their conscience tells them is the right thing to do. Whether inspired by faith, ethical conviction, philosophy, or profound respect for human dignity, conscience remains the foundation of genuine accountability. Laws can regulate behavior, but only conscience can inspire integrity. Finally, we must once again learn to build bridges rather than walls. Our diversity of cultures, beliefs, and perspectives should be a source of strength rather than division. Through sincere dialogue, mutual respect, inclusion, and the willingness to listen before we judge, we discover that our common humanity is greater than our differences. Harmony is achieved not by elimination of diversity, but by embracing it with wisdom, understanding, respect, and genuine commitment to one another. Ladies and gentlemen, if we educate with conscience, innovate with responsibility, uphold justice through the rule of law, demand equal accountability, and trust leadership to people of competence and integrity, and engage one another through dialogue, inclusion, and mutual respect, we will do far more than solve today's challenges. We will lay the foundation for a more peaceful, more just, and more humane civilization for generations to come. Let us ensure that the defining legacy of our generation is not merely technological advancement, but moral leadership, leadership founded upon conscience, justice, competence, respect, and an unwavering commitment to dignity, freedom, and inherent worth of every human being. Thank you very much. 谢谢.
There were so many statements in there that I stopped writing. I wanted to copy them all. Thank you so much, but I will summarize a few, if you don't mind. So one of his points, I think the core of it would be to say that education is important. And he talks about the education of conscience, about the integrity of humans, and the human dignity you talked about. Like I said, there are so many, I would almost say one-liners that we could chew on. And I appreciate very much, Your Highness, for your comments. Thank you. Our next speaker, Dr. Massimo Introvegna, Chief Editor-in-Chief of Bitter Winter, and an international recognized Italian socialist of sociology of religion. He is the founder and managing director of CESNUR, which is the Center for Studies on New Religions, and is widely respected for his research and advocacy on freedom of religion or belief and human rights. It is a deep pleasure to hand the microphone to you, Dr. Intervenha.
Dear Dr. Hong, Excellencies, and dear Ditzi, your 60th anniversary comes as a special moment in history when artificial intelligence is transforming our societies, think, act, and even dream. For a sociologist of religion, this is a fascinating moment. Religions have always confronted new technologies, from the printing press to social media, but this is something new because questions once debated by theologians are now appearing in everyday life. The first encyclical of Pope Leo XIV, an American pope, is devoted to artificial intelligence. It is called Magnifica Humanitas and examines the promise and peril of artificial intelligence. The Pope warns that AI can shape human behavior through invisible architectures of influence. It reflects on communities subject to pervasive monitoring and surveillance, on algorithms that anticipate choices before individuals make them. He insists that technology must remain anchored in human dignity and calls for vigilance in protecting conscience and freedom. This encyclical is a cultural event for Catholics and non-Catholics alike. It signals that religions are entering the AI conversation with renewed urgency. AI can support human flourishing, yet it can also create illusions of autonomy that obscure deeper questions of meaning and responsibility. In this global dialogue, Dr. Hong Daozi offers a perspective that enriches the conversation. His reflections on conscience, love, and the ethical use of technology resonate with the concerns expressed by the Pope. Dr. Hong emphasized, and indeed did it even today, that technological developments, even when astonishing, do not guarantee stability. He notes that societies grow anxious when machines appear to replace human roles. He urges humanity to cultivate conscience as the foundation for navigating the digital age. Already speaking in 2023 at the summit of the World Protection Forum in San Marino. San Marino is not Italy, it's an independent country. He described conscience as the ship sailing toward a sustainable future. He stressed the need to synchronize the progress of spirituality and technology. Of course, Pope Leo and Dr. Hong come from different continents, religions, and traditions. Yet they converge on their views of AI. They see it as a force that can elevate or diminish humanity. They shared insight remind us that AI may reshape civilization, but conscience reshapes the future. Taiji Man invites us to listen to the still small voice of this future-shaping conscience. Let's listen to Taiji Man and let's listen to Dr. Hong for a better future. Thank you.
Again, there's a lot to unpack, and that without a script. We all have our talents. So I think it is clear in his wording that AI can be used, but it cannot be used without conscience. He talked about technical development does not increase stability, and we have to learn to listen to the still small voice of conscience. I would now like to introduce Mr. Peter Zörer. I have known Peter for I don't know how many years, Peter. Many? 10? I don't know. More than 10 probably. An Austrian journalist and human rights advocate. Peter Zörer serves as executive director of the Forum for Religious Freedom in Europe, FOREF, Europe. He has devoted many years of promoting freedom of religion or belief, defending human dignity, and raising awareness of human rights issues around the world. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Hans. Distinguished guests, respected panelists, leaders of Taiji Men, Qigong Academy, and dear friends. It is with deep humility that I address you today as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Taiji Men at the Beyond 60 Guiding the Future of Humanity Summit. I come from a region painfully close to the raging war in the Ukraine. You might have guessed I'm coming from the same country where our friend His Highness Sándor Habsburg is coming from, which is Austria, and this is pretty close to the Ukraine. This conflict has brought immense human suffering, families torn apart, lives destroyed, and human dignity violated every day. More than 4 years after the full-scale invasion, the United Nations has verified over 16,400 civilians killed. I'm talking about civilians. Soldiers, it's over 1 million. Including hundreds of children and tens of thousands injured. Nearly 10 million Ukrainians remain displaced. Such a tragedy compels us to act with moral urgency. Military power or political maneuvering alone can never bring lasting peace. Enduring solutions must be rooted in conscience and in the recognition of our shared human dignity. When conscience is ignored, divisions deepen. When conscience leads, bridges of understanding can build even across the deepest chasms. Beyond reason, it is the human heart that ultimately moves us to act. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us, there comes a time when we must take a stand, not because it's safe or popular, but because conscience tells us it is right. We must feel the anguish of a mother shielding her child from bombs, or the sorrow of an elderly person watching a lifetime of memories reduced to rubble. These are not distant statistics. They are our fellow human beings whose dignity calls out for protection, compassion, and justice. In this challenging time, I would like to recognize one of the outstanding moral leaders of our era, Dr. Hong Tao-tse, Changmen Reng of Taiji Men. Through more than 60 years of dedicated service, Dr. Hong has elevated the role of conscience in a global peace building in a truly remarkable way. His vision has inspired cultural exchanges and Qigong practice across the 123 countries, promoting inner cultivation, harmony, and moral awakening that have touched millions of lives. His unwavering commitment to peace, dialogue, and the cultivation of conscience makes him, in my view, a highly deserving candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. His life's work continues to inspire people around the world to choose harmony over division, dialogue over confrontation, and conscience over indifference. This is why Taiji Men's remarkable 60 years journey and this summit's inspiring theme, Bridging Divides, Dialogue of Conscience, Harmony and Inclusion, are so profoundly important. Conscience is the inner light that restores human dignity. When we engage in genuine dialogue, listening with empathy and speaking with integrity, we affirm the inherent worth of every human being. Allow me to conclude with 3 simple commitments. First, let conscience, not convenience, guide our response to crises such as the war in the Ukraine. Let us defend human dignity as the indispensable foundation of peace, freedom, and justice. And third, let us build bridges of understanding that will endure long after today's conflicts have faded into history. 60 years of Taiji Men demonstrate that lasting change begins with the human heart. May the next 60 years see conscience translated into courageous action, healing divisions, restoring human dignity, and helping to build a more peaceful, just, and compassionate world. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to repeat all of that. There is so much wisdom in all of what is being said today. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you're taking notes, because we will be giving you the floor in a few minutes to ask questions. But there's a few things that I would like to emphasize that I think that are relevant. He talked about the 16,400 civilian casualties in the Ukraine war. We don't talk much about that. He talks about the idea of focusing on the human heart, just to do what is right. And I like the idea of the Nobel Peace Prize for Dr. Hong. Let's give a round of applause on that one. I would like to give the floor in a minute to Thierry Val. I've known Thierry even longer. I met him in Vienna the first time. That's right. And that was 18 years ago. We've been in the business for that long, I imagine. Thierry is director of CAP, Freedom of Conscience. Thierry Val is a French human rights defender dedicated to protecting freedom of conscience and religion. He works internationally to support victims of discrimination and persecution and advocates for dialogue, tolerance, and the protection of fundamental human rights. Thierry, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hong, to invite me to this important conference. I'm really proud to be here with you today. Justice and human rights are not the destination of sustainable development. They are the starting points. After decades of work with international bodies, one conviction has only grown stronger. No society can build a lasting future by eroding fundamental freedoms. The right to conscience, the right to believe, the right to live without fear. These are not privilege handed down by governments. They are the bedrock of any future world building. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals call us to build a world of peace, dignity, and prosperity. But the 2030 Agenda carries a warning. Leave no one behind. It's not a slogan. It is a legal and moral imperative. The United Goal 16 reminds us that peace and justice need strong institutions. Goal 10 demands that we reduce inequalities. The first article of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights affirms that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. These are not abstract ideals. They are the architecture of any society that hopes to endure. Dr. Aung San Suu Kyi has understood this truth for 60 years. He teaches that conscience is a compass of human action, and that justice flows naturally when individuals and societies are guided by this inner light. The Taiji Kikon Academy stands as a living demonstration of this principle. When human dignity is placed at the center of education and self-cultivation, it becomes the engine of genuine progress. The young people formed in this tradition carry into the world not only knowledge, but a sense of responsibility towards themselves, towards others, and towards the planet they share. Dr. Hong has said that keen intentions and good earth are the positive energies necessary to safeguard the Earth's sustainable development. This is not merely a spiritual insight, it is a political imperative. The UN Charter places human rights at the heart of its purpose. When conscience is defended, when justice is upheld, the first stone of every sustainable future is laid. As we celebrate the 16th anniversary of the Taiji Kikon Academy, let us recognize that Dr. Hong's legacy is not only one of spiritual teaching, it is one of the structural wisdom. He reminds us that justice begins within the human earth, and that human rights are not granted by governments, they are the inherent of our very nature. This is the starting point, this is the foundation, this is the only path to a future that is truly sustainable. Let us pledge today to place justice and human rights at the center of every policy, every institution, and every earth. Only then will the Sustainable Development Goals become not inspiration, but reality. I thank you.
It is harder to give a small speech than a long one. And as you listen to these speeches, you will notice that it is very compact. A lot is being said in simple sentences. So let me repeat a few of the sentences that he made. He talked about human rights are not just abstract ideas. They are a call to action. He talked about the concept that when human dignity is placed at the center of self-cultivation, it becomes the engine of genuine progress. Now that is a statement. And he talked about human rights is not granted by the governments, but are inalienable rights, meaning they are for all people, regardless of whether the government recognizes it or not. Now it is up to us and the governments to recognize it and to act upon it. Thank you, Thierry, for these comments. Now we have a few minutes for Q&A. And I would suggest to raise your hand if you have a question. And are there microphones that we can spread around in the audience? Not
Yeah,
for
there are
everyone, I'm
microphones
sure.
on your seats for everyone. So, by the way, hence, because of the time constraints, so we may only allow for one question. Okay.
All right.
Sorry about
Here's
that. But later on, after we closing, if you got more comments, learning question, you can come to our VIP room to have more conversation. Okay. Sure.
So who won the lottery?
Hero. We invite one hero.
We have one here, right here.
Thank you all that you come to Taiwan. I believe you come here because of you know what Dr. Hong guided us, that conscious love and peace is the very important philosophy, and also most important is studying ourselves.
Yeah.
But how we can make more country, the Prime Minister, the President, the Prime Minister, Ministry of the Education, Ministry of the Culture, who they can put more effort to let this kind of idea then in all their system, then they really promote this idea in the world. Thank you.
Let me make sure that I understand your question. It's always about communication, right? Do I understand it right? If your question is, how can we promote the idea of conscience more deeply into the minds of the government leaders worldwide? Is that correct? Who has the answer? The answer. Your Highness, can I ask you first and then? Okay.
Yeah, we can have a conference about it, but I understand we only have 1 minute. So my proposal is there is this International Day of Conscience, which is the fruit of the efforts of Dr. Hong and Ditzi and some other people. This is a very important day, but it's not enough that it's celebrated through some seminars and webinars and is in the calendar of the United Nations. In all countries, we should make efforts so that the International Day of Conscience is widely celebrated and known by politicians and citizens. If we manage to have celebration and events for the International Day of Conscience in our countries every year, I believe that will really answer your question and make a difference.
You know, I feel much better than in a prepared speech. But if I'd like to base it on the spirit of everything that Dr. Hong Tao Tse has been trying to teach us and everybody else in this world, we have talked about human rights. We have talked about as fundamental rights. But what we have all forgotten, and I include myself in that statement, a right creates a responsibility. So rights are good, they're fine. But if we have a right to do something, it creates a responsibility to make sure that that right is maintained. And we have to look at our job and what we do and what steps we can take to do it. And that leads us to all the wonderful things that we've been talking about. But it's that action, that responsibility that is created by what we think are our rights. Thank you.
Peter?
Yeah, thank you. I have some, thank you for this question. I have some practical suggestions for this. Because I'm a media man, I'm the global coordinator of IMAP, International Media Association for Peace. And practical suggestions, first of all, you should make a press release of such a, a global press release. There are possibilities to global press release. Happening here, and then put all the speeches online and make a link to this global press release, and then hundreds of thousands of journalists can read it. You may not get a direct response, but if you do this every time, after 10 times, after 10 press releases, you belong to the landscape of the media. And then people will register you. But without media, you cannot make substantial changes. It is so incredible what is happening here and what your initiative of Taiji Men, and how important this would be for our society right now. But there's a saying in journalism: if it has not been reported, it didn't happen. So for journalists, for the world media, this didn't happen, this event. I'm sorry, I have to be straight like this, but it's because I'm so desperate. Please forgive me. Yeah? And so, anyway, there are more suggestions, but that's enough for now, I think.
Very practical. Very practical tips we hear here. Well, the good news, I can say. Yeah, of course, Thierry.
Yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I have no answer to your question. There was some proposition.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
No. There is what Dr. Introvini said that is correct, and what Peter Zora said, which is also correct. But your question comes to me personally. My organization is Freedom of Conscience, and I try to live with this conscience, and I learned from Dr. Hong the importance of this conscience, but I forget something. Putting conscience into my speech, putting conscience into my declaration, putting conscience on what I did, not just living conscience, but giving conscience to the others, asking conscience to the others. So your question was a point to me, and I will make sure that next time I will put conscience to the others.
What you just heard was deep French philosophy. Yeah, the good news is, I was going to say too, sorry. The good news is that in every culture we find this concept of conscience, don't we? And some call it Ubuntu. Boto was, I think, you used. And in every culture the whole idea resonates. The question is, how can we raise it to a higher level of conscience? That's all I wanted to say. And thank you very much, our panelists, for our discussions. I give the floor back to the host.
Yeah, thank you, our moderator and all the panelists. Now we'd like to invite Dr. Hong to the stage to give the certificate of appreciation to our panelists here.
Welcome, Dr. Hong.
Okay. The first one will be His Imperial Royal Highness Shandong Hotspur Rohingya. And then Mr. Hans Knut, our moderator for today. And then Dr. Massimo Intromine. And next one is Peter Zollhurst. And then last but not the least, Mr. Gary Belay. And let's have a group picture together, please. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Your.
Let's give all the panelists a big round of applause again for their sharing.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. Now, we would like to start straight ahead to the last session, Bridging Divides, Dialogue of Conscience, Harmony, and Inclusion. We've spent the afternoon on what conscience asks of us. This session asks how it gets us talking to each other again. Now, we will have 4 presentations and a moderated dialogue. Our moderator is founder and president of the Caribbean and African Faith-Based Leadership Conference and liaison to the White House Faith-Based Cabinet Offices. He will introduce each of our speakers in turn. Let's now welcome Dr. Agron Decay. We would also like to welcome Mr. Bernard Ndogan, Prince of Cameroon, to the stage. Dr. Mark Nemesh to the stage, Dr. Shang Dongfu, and Dr. Felicia Bese Akamune to the stage. Welcome.
So, Dr. DK, as a kind reminder, this section will also have 40 minutes. So each presenter have 3 to 5 minutes, and we will conclude with Q&A, maybe also one question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me clearly? Special honor and congratulations to our Grandmaster and leader, Dr. Hong Toisey, and to all who have been involved in organizing this Peace and Sustainable Forum. Mine is the task to introduce our panel of distinguished speakers and to engage you in dialogue and reflection. It would be remiss of me not to acknowledge that 3 of us are of African heritage, representing the continent of Africa, and to say how we appreciate you for including us and promoting this level of diversity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, fellow panelists, and friends of Taijiman, it is a profound honor to moderate this panel on peace and sustainability as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Taijiman here in Taiwan. Why peace and sustainability at the 60th? Because it's a time when the world faces war, pandemic, climate crisis, and moral confusion. Taijiman's 60th year journey reminds us that true sustainability is not environmental, it's moral sustainability. As Professor Lu Ming Chung has said, sustainability requires justice, trust, and institutional integrity. And peace without sustainability is temporary. Sustainability without peace is impossible. From the Bible, peace, Jesus said in Matthew 5:9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." In the Quran 8:61, "And if they incline to peace, then incline to it and rely upon Allah." In the Buddhist tradition, with us today, we have Dr. Mark Nema from Hungary, an historian and scholar of religion and methodology, and deputy director focuses on religious freedom. We also have with us Dr. General for the Department of Social Insurance, Ministry of Health, Welfare here in Taiwan, from saving lives in the operating room to leading Taiwan's national health insurance system and humanitarian relief during SARS and beyond. He embodies Taijiman's principle that prevention is better than cure. His journey from a doctorate in public health to leading Apex Health diplomacy exemplifies sustainability and leadership. We have with us Dr. Felicia Base Akamune, a United States citizen of Nigerian heritage, a pediatric medical doctor, pediatrician, humanitarian, and global peace ambassador. She's a board-certified pediatrician, fellow of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and founder and CEO of Milestone Medical Outreach, a nonprofit providing free healthcare in the U.S. and Africa since 2010. A graduate of the Lagos University, served at Howard University, served 6 years consultancy in pediatric to serve U.S. Army hospitals and other health institutions. I think one more person we have here. We have with us, finally, Prince Bernard Unduga from the Cameroon, a global peace advocate and what we call royalty. His Royal Highness, Prince Bernard Onduga, is a globally recognized peace advocate and humanitarian. He has rung the bell of world peace and love in Vietnam and other world capital, promoting love, conscience, and intercultural harmony. A regular voice at FOPAL and International Day of Conscience. A man that promotes true peace and that must begins from the heart that can reach the world. His royal lineage and lifelong commitment to dialogue makes him a powerful envoy for Africa's wisdom in peace building. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for distinguished panel. And we now give the mic to Dr. Martin M. as he shares on his subject.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, respected representatives of academic and social organizations, and most importantly, dearest friends of Taijimen, and of course, respected Dr. Hong. It is my great pleasure to stand before you, or in this case, sit before you, and share my thoughts, which I have titled Taijimen as an envoy of culture and harmony. Please allow me to share some thoughts on the Czech literary theoretician Yuri Levy, who in his 1983 seminar work, The Art of Translation, outlined the duty of translators and the most valuable trait that they must prioritize for a successful literary translation. Levy highlighted the importance of the interplay between the translator and the reader's inner words, which must become a shared reality for deeper understanding. Translators must do their work so well that the reader does not even feel that they are reading a translation, but rather a work that was originally written in their own native tongue. This contextual inclusivity can be achieved when the translator extends his own invisible word and offers the knowledge for the reader in a seemingly culturally or contextually alien, yet in a culturally similar and familiar form. The merits of Levy's approach can also extend beyond the translation of literary works and can be contextualized within social initiatives. Here, initiators must transcend their own culturally determined meanings to find common grounds with the broader collective of global humanity. Taijimen's work over the past 60 years, their cultural representation, the elaborate dragon and phoenix dances, and of course the peacock dances that we get to see yesterday, the martial arts shows, the historical processions and festivals, as well as the spiritual education and holistic initiatives, like the ringing of the bell of world peace and love, or the Qigong practices for improving one's well-being, all align with this way of thinking. Taijimen shares their values in an understandable and acceptable way almost everywhere. Their parades and martial arts shows educate the audience about the cultural heritage of East Asia in a visually rich and easily digestible form for all ages. Similarly, the deities expressed dedication to well-being, inner and bodily improvement is a merit that all cultures can value and understand. Most recently in the US, upon Dr. Hong's guidance, Taijimen organized a celebratory dragon and phoenix dance, a procession to mark the 250th anniversary of the United States. This celebration also coincided with the completion of the full zodiac cycle since the foundation of Taijimen Qigong Academy. The two milestone events wove together in a universally shared meaning of collective harmony, peace, joy, and sustainability. Meanwhile, the deeper, more esoteric meanings and messages of Taijimen, such as the harmonious resonances, the collectively cultivated energy, or the mystical symbolism of the auspicious beasts, were left to be interpreted for all according to their cultural, religious, and spiritual perspectives. Such a culturally sensitive and inclusive way of welcoming and delivering meaningful spiritual messages is a true value today. The noted activities can also create a cultural lingua franca, a shared language, which is a genuine and understandable in everywhere in the world. Taijimen, in this sense, serves not only as a cultural and this collective benevolence and inner development, Based on this, and finally, reconnecting to my original point of the art of translation and the remarks of Yuri Levy, I can confidently say that Taijimen's messages are well translated, understandable, and emotionally shareable across the globe. Their social work elevates the consciousness of humanity, while their cultural ambassadorship invites all to find and share merits in harmony and plurality. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you very much. That was so interesting, and the perspective that you have brought it from to show the role, the importance of translation, and how Taijimen have impacted that landscape. And so let me just briefly summarize these thoughts. Taijimen as an envoy of a culture of harmony. Dr. Martin M. Using Levy's theory of translation, Dr. Nemish describes Taijimen as a master translator of culture. For 60 years, through Dragon and phonic dance, martial arts, and the bell of world peace, they have shared deep spiritual values of love, sustainability in a universal, understandable language that even the recent US 250th anniversary celebrate exemplifies this, creating a cultural lingual franca, that promotes peace, joy, and plurality while respecting all traditions. Put your hands together again for him, and then we will now turn it over to Prince Bernard Nduga, royalty from the Cameroon. Let's have Prince, Your Royal Highness.
We have heard a lot today. I will concentrate my speech on Dr. Hong, this great man of the 21st century. I would like to thank you, dear Dr. Hong, for the invitation at these events, the celebration of your anniversary, and the celebration of the 60th anniversary of Taijimen Association. You have also dedicated your life. But before I give my speech, I would like to, you dear guest, tell a small story related to what we are celebrating today. One day, in a taxi that was driving him to the airport, the famous sociologist Jean Ziegler from Switzerland was recognized by the taxi driver. The taxi driver asked Mr. Ziegler, probably, that you are going to peace conference somewhere in the world. Mr. Jean Ziegler answered, yes. The taxi driver continued and said, but for years, you have been traveling around the world, giving peace conferences, urging people to live in peace, to love one another. But despite all this, the world is not improving. It's even getting worse. Jean Ziegler gave him a sensible answer and said to him, if I did not travel around the world to alert to you for peace, for love, for unity among human beings, it will be even worse. The taxi driver shook his head and said, you are right. This is the man we came to celebrate here today. A man who dedicated his life to remind us human beings that we have to love one another, that we have to live peacefully with one another, that we have to live in harmony with our surrounding, human beings or nature. And that is what does Dr. Hong. Running around the world and spreading the message of love, peace, and harmony. I would particularly like to thank you, Dr. Hong, for all these efforts that you make and pray so that you always have the necessary strength and means for these very high ideals. For us here today, what can we do? Beginning from I, we will say, I cannot run around the world like Dr. Hong. What is true? But you know where peace begins? Peace begins in our hearts. You and I are all facing many challenges and difficulties in life. If our hearts are not at peace, we can never truly work for peace. We have to bring peace around us, in our families, in our surroundings. It is only then we'll be able to run around the world like Dr. Hong and spread this message of peace and love. If Dr. Hong is traveling around the world to advocate for peace, it is because his heart is at peace and filled with love for his brother and sisters, not driven by hatred. Only then he can share that overflowing love with the world. Let us follow this example by cultivating harmony within our own hearts. That harmony will be reflected in our families, our communities, and ultimately throughout the world. Once again, happy anniversary, dear Dr. Hong. May God bless you for all what you are doing for the world and for the Taiji men. Thank you.
This was indeed a very powerful presentation, and I think that all of us could technically join in the sentiments of what he said, because basically what he did is recognize and applauded the work of Dr. Hong and the impact of what Dr. Hong has been doing. So your royalty, Prince Nduga, we really thank you for such a motivating, encouraging presentation. Said if peace advocates stopped traveling, the world would be even worse, or rather a more horrible place to live. And I think we could all agree with that. He praised and applauded Dr. Hong for dedicating his life to running around the world, spreading love, peace, and harmony. And most importantly, you said that peace cannot be exported until we all internalize it. Could you agree with that, ladies and gentlemen? We must all internalize it. It must begin in our own hearts and then in our families, communities, before it can reach the world. Put your hands together for him. And we will now move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker, Dr. Tong. Yes, please proceed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Takei. Distinguished guests, a good day to all of you. It's a great honor to take part in the 2026 Global Leaders Summit for Peace. I am a retired DZ of the Department of Social Insurance at Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare. I'm also a disciple of Taiji Men. Before entering public service, I served as a chief of thoracic surgery at a hospital, where I came to understand that health as a human right is key to humanity's future, and begin with respecting life and building sound systems. Let me first share my journey that took me from a thoracic surgeon to a public health participant. My team once rescued a patient whose heart had been stabbed by an enemy. But when he survived, his first words were, "I'm going to get my revenge." That moment shocked me. I realized a doctor going to can repair a physical heart, but cannot heal the spiritual heart. It confirmed what my Sifu has always taught us: true charity means saving the spirit. If a person's mindset remains unchanged, life will simply repeat its old tragedies. Another turning point came with the 2003 SARS outbreak. Watching virus cross borders made me realize that viruses need no visa to travel. And prevention must be a global effort. At 49, I decided to return to school for a doctorate in public health, guided by our ancient proverb. The superior physician treats illness before it arises. The highest form of medicine is to cure nations, secure the society. Though I set down my scalpel, I put on shoes instead and became a gatekeeper for global health, and serving as DZ of the International Cooperation Office and the CEO of Taiwan International Health Action, bringing humanitarian relief from the Philippines typhoon to Nepal earthquake. I also represented Taiwan at APEC, where I was elected vice chair of the health working group. My experience in 2000, traveling with Taijimen Qigong Goodwill Cultural Exploration team to the Sydney Olympics, proved invaluable to my later diplomatic work. As delegation leader, I witnessed how my Sifu, Zhangmenren of Taijimen, practiced diplomacy through cultural exchange, sharing love and peace with the world, a foundation that served me well in APEC arena. Health human rights must belong to every person, regardless of background. This is why I've dedicated myself to investing in public health, building platforms for cross-system cooperation, and improving the values and efficiency of our national health insurance payment system. All in service of prevention, all in service of the principle that prevention is better than cure. Practicing Qigong and cultivating the heart mind at Taijimen had kept me energized through demanding responsibility. I hope this platform helps the world recognize our contribution to the global peace so that together we may advance to well-being for all. Everyone deserves to live a healthy life and get medical care without worry, with a mind, peace of mind. That is the core mission I carry as a gatekeeper of global health. Thank you very much.
Very eye-opening, I must say, sir. Very inspiring because many times we do not realize how important global health is to peace building. And sometimes we don't see that connection between global health and peace building, and you have opened our eyes to that. And so to summarize your thoughts, but that just jumped out at me right there, that from being a surgeon to director general of social insurance, you have just shared how saving a stabbing victim who vowed revenge taught you that healing the spiritual heart matters more than the physical heart. And that's something that Dr. Hong always wants us to understand, the spiritual heart, because if your heart is impure, it's not healed. That's so important. And the 2003 SARS crisis showed him that disease and violence need no visa. Tell somebody that disease and violence needs no visa. Leading him at the age of 49 to earn his doctorate in public health, he became a gateway for global health, leading Taiwan's humanitarian relief and apex health diplomacies. And he credit all of his work and life skills to Taijimen's cultural diplomacy model. His mission is, and I think it's so clear, prevention is better than cure. And healthcare human rights must be for everyone. Thank you very much. We now move to the only woman on the panel, all the way from continental Africa and the United States, Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Hong Taoze, Taijimen Qigong Academy, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, all protocols observed. I feel privileged to be here, representing the only woman on the panel, and also representing Africa. The inclusiveness, the warmth, the reception I have enjoyed here has been extraordinary. And I have traveled to so many countries, Latin America, Africa, conflict zones, and I'm very thankful that I was invited here. Thank you very much. My topic was dealt on earlier. However, I have a different nuance to it. So permit me, if we're going back to holistic education, cultivating conscience and leadership for peace. It's going to be short and sweet. Holistic education seeks to nurture not only the intellect, but also the conscience, empathy, and leadership qualities that enable individuals to become agents of peace. It considers not only the physical classroom or intellectual teaching, but also the social, emotional, and environmental factors. Traditional education emphasizes the academic achievements and the technical skills of people. This does not prepare a person for the moral and social challenges of our time. That gives ethical reflections and spiritual awareness, cultivating a sense of responsibility towards oneself and others and the planet. And that is the basis of my work as a medical missionary, going to everywhere there are underserved people. Because even in the United States, we do have people that are homeless. I was impressed that I didn't see homeless people on the streets here. I was telling my sisters that drove me around. And that we have a problem over there. Cultivation of conscience is the center of holistic education. Conscience is the inner compass that guides decisions towards justice, compassion, and truth. When we encourage people to reflect on values, question assumptions, and engage in dialogue, we help them to develop the moral clarity needed to resist violence and injustice. Leadership in the 21st century is no longer about dominance or control. It is about service, collaboration, and vision. Taiji Men Academy and Dr. Hong Taoze's vision, established 60 years ago, was visionary and global. It was established at a time when leadership was all about dominance and control. That was what we grew up with. Now it is being embraced all over the world. We now see nations and their leaders resisting the dominance and control of stronger nations. This leads to conflict because the stronger nations still want to stay in control. We must educate leaders to listen deeply, act ethically, and inspire collective action. These leaders will be equipped to mediate conflicts, build bridges across cultures, and champion peace in their communities. Practices that nurture peace have to be developed and taught in schools of higher learning and in civil society organizations. Mindfulness and reflections, cultivating inner calm and awareness. On mindfulness, mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Reflection, thoughtfully considering past experiences, actions, and emotions, not for revenge, but to plan what your reaction did in the now and decision making. Community service is showing empathy to those in our communities who are not able to provide for themselves. In Africa, we say fingers are not equal. So we provide free medical care, homeless feeding, clothing. In my foundation, we've tried to do the best we can. And then the third part is intercultural dialogue. which is being exhibited here. Fostering respect for diversity, mutual understanding. Intercultural dialogue is the open and respectful exchange of views between individuals, groups from different ethnic, cultural, religious, and linguistic groups, as we can see demonstrated here by the Taiji Men Organization and the celebration of their 60th anniversary. A primary reason why I'm here today is the global citizenship development. Ethics in curriculum, applying moral reasoning across all disciplines in life. In conclusion, holistic education is needed for a peaceful future by cultivating science and nurturing leadership with compassion. We can transform conflicts into cooperation and division into unity for future generations. Peace begins in the classroom and extends into families, societies, and the global community. We are all interconnected parts in the global community. Peace begins in the heart of a child who learns to care, to listen, and to lead. If we cultivate conscience and leadership through holistic education, we will not only educate minds, but we will awaken souls and together build a future of peace. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It can never be overemphasized how important holistic education and cultivating conscience of peace, as our former president spoke earlier, and she has brought that back for us to reflect. And so here we see where Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune, she has just created a strong argument about traditional education, that it doesn't necessarily prepare our young people and the generation at large for the moral challenges of our time, and commended Dr. Hong and Taijiman for your over 60 years of work through visionary teachings, through your visionary teachings, that true leadership is service, is not dominance, and that holistic education must cultivate conscience, our inner compass for justice, through mindfulness, community service, and through outreach, as she has done through Milestone Medical Outreach in Africa. But most importantly, she has highlighted in her presentation that intercultural dialogue and ethics in our curricula, in our curriculums, in educational curriculums, can bring peace in the hearts of our children, who can learn to care, listen, and become great future leaders. Put your hands together for Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune. And we will now open the floor for 2 short questions. Short questions, and we're only going to have one person answer those questions because of time. 2 short questions quickly from anyone who you have heard spoken. Did anyone have any question on your heart? Or you would like to make a quick comment, but only 2. Anyone? I think our panelists did such an excellent job that there is no question, no comment. At least one. One question, one comment. How you feel? Somebody. Okay, thank you very much. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for our amazing panel. I think that the presentation was so holistic, from hearing from our Royal Highness to the role of translation and culture, to medicine, and to how Taijiman inspire people like our speaker here, and inspiring all of us. And we are really happy to be here. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. DK. Please remain on the stage. Thank you very much. Now we would like to invite Dr. Hong to the stage to present certificates of appreciation. In the meantime, I would like to also invite 2 very special guests today who have supported this summit throughout. We would like to invite Ms. Stephanie Celuti to the stage and Ms. Christine Miret to the stage. Welcome. We will start with certificate for Dr. DK. Thank you, Dr. DK. Next, we would like to present the certificate to Prince Bernard Erdogan of Cameroon. Next, we would like to present the certificate to Dr. Mark Nemesh. Next to Dr. Shang Dongfu. And now our appreciation for Dr. Felicia Basset Akamune. Next, our appreciation for Miss Stefania Celuti. Now last but not least, Miss Christine Mireille. Thank you, Your Excellencies, and now we would like to have a group photo together. Now, very big smile. Love and peace. Look at the camera.
So please stay on the stage for a while. So now I would like to invite all the other honored guests outside of Taiwan to come to the stage to have a big group pictures for today. Jerry, think this is a great milestone that we have so many honored guests to be here today to share their wisdom and remarks for love and peace and conscience. So now is the moment. So is cameraman ready? So we have okay, so thank you for all the honored guests. So please be seated. I think we are close to the end of today's summit. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Your Excellencies. Dr.
Thank
Hong,
you.
thank you very much. Now, this brings us to the end of the 2026 Global Leaders Summit for Peace. We've heard from 4 continents this afternoon, and one thread ran through every address, and that is conscience.
And Dr. Hong has said, conscience ignites aspiration, and that action brings aspiration to fulfillment. Every word spoken here today now weighs on what we do next.
Our special thanks to every speaker and moderator who traveled here, to Dr. Hong for 60 years of this work, tremendous to the world, and to the volunteers who've been here since this morning. And thank you, all of you, for staying with us to the end.
Yeah, we think you're probably already hungry, so there's some refreshments served outside. So we hope you'll stay for a while. We'll leave you with a piece of music. It's called Song of Conscience. So safe travels, everyone, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Conscience in your heart, conscience in my heart, conscience in our hearts. Conscience is the guidance of the soul. Let us tell right from wrong. Conscience is the guidance of the soul. Gives us wisdom to tell true from false. Conscience is the calling from the soul. Guides us to do good deeds in our lives. Conscience is the eye of the soul. Lights up our lives and lights up the world. Conscience in my heart, conscience in our hearts.
It's close. So thank you, everyone. So hopefully conscience always in your heart. Goodbye. See you next time.